Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do some work on the Kawasaki. We're going to fit this, a new petrol tap. We're going to change the one that's on the bike, which is the one that runs on a vacuum off of the engine. And like a lot of these systems, when the engine stops, it's supposed to stop sucking the fuel through. But what I'm finding is happening, and what other owners have complained about, is that the petrol does still flow and it can overfill the carburetors, and you can get a puddle of petrol on the garage floor. And so this system, this tap rather, is just a simple on-off reserve. Very, very simple, very old school. I got it on eBay, and I'll put in a description or a cut in later exactly where I got it from and how much it cost. So the petrol tap that's on it is not exactly old, but you can see the discoloration here where it's been, I think, leaking slightly. So what we're going to do, get the seat off, or open the seat I should say, get the tank out, which is very, very simple on these, and then we're going to use this cardboard box with a towel over it just to rest the tank on, and so that we can get to the screws to get the tap out. I have drained the tank as much as it will go, so hopefully just putting it on its side will be enough to stop any leaks. So those of you unfamiliar with the Z650B1, once you've unlatched the seat, there's no bolts to get the tank off. It simply lifts off here, pull back off of the bungs that are on the frame, and disconnect the two hoses down here. One is the fuel supply to the carburetors, and the other is the vacuum hose down to, on this case, down onto number 2 carburetor. Simply by lifting the tank up and out of its securing points underneath and move it slightly to one side, it's then easy to get a screwdriver down here and undo the clamp, and then just pull off. This is the vacuum hose here. So I'm now ready just to pry off that hose, and then we'll lift the tank out and put it on its side. So there we are with the tank off. The front of the tank sits here and here on these two rubber mounts, and then there's just one little kind of fin, if you like, that sits in this rubber mount at the back, and that's all that holds these Kawasaki tanks on. Very, very simple. So here's the tank upended in the cardboard box. That's the little fin I was talking to you about that locates in the frame there. Here is the original petrol tap, and here is the one that's going to go on in its place. Eagle-eyed will notice that the fuel output is different, but this one does come with a 90-degree angle, but a little bit of fettling will be required because the output on here is 8mm and the output on the replacement is only 6. So I've got an idea of sleeving the fuel supply pipe to make that all fit. So let's get to the workbench and change these bits over. Okay, just for ease of filming, I've taken the vacuum plug off of number 1. So in order to block this vacuum hole up, I've had to get another one of these little rubber bungs, and that'll just go on there, and that will seal the vacuum for the carburetor. Thought I'd do a quick cut in just to explain a little more about this petrol tap. So this is the one that runs off of the vacuum, and you see there's a reserve and on, and at the bottom there it says prime. And the idea with this vacuum operated system is that you put the tap into the prime position, where it simply gravity feeds into the carburetors. Once the engine is running, you then switch it to the on position there, and the vacuum activates a valve here in the back. And the idea is that allows the fuel to be drawn into the carburetors while the engine's running, and then once the engine has stopped, the vacuum stops, and that acts as a seal and stops the petrol from coming down into the carburetors. Problem is that doesn't always work very well, and that's the reason why I changed the tap. So what I need to do is sleeve this fuel line here, because try and get it into better focus. That, you see, it's just too loose. So my plan is to use a piece of tube like this, which fits inside. I'll just cover the end here with this black one, and then the whole thing should get in there and clamp down. That's the idea. Okay, so I've put this smaller rubber tube, fuel tube, onto the fuel tap. Yeah, that's going to fit just nicely. Okay, let's go ahead and mount this into the tank. I'll just give that surface a little clean up so we get a good seal. So these are the fuel tank bolts. Try and get that into focus. New red rubber seals come with the kit. And what I've done, I just put a small copper washer on behind it just to give that seal a bit of support. These are the old seals, they're plastic, and they've gone very hard and brittle. I might have got away with using them again, but as the kit comes with these, I thought I'd put them on, obviously. Okay, let's bolt the whole thing together. So immediately a change of plan. I've taken off the copper washers because if you look at the fixing flange, the original is on the right. It's much thinner than the new one, so I don't have as much thread to play with that goes into the tank. So I'm going to try it without the copper washers. Okay, it seems to have gone on there. Obviously, you know, the happier you are with more turns on the bolts, but it seems incredibly secure. I've got a good torque on it. I didn't torque it up by numbers. It's the good and tight method. Seal looks good. So I think what I'll do is put some fuel in the tank now, just to see if we've got any leaks, because it's an easier problem to deal with if the tank is off the bike. Okay, we've got a good half tank of petrol and everything seems to be petrol tight. You just have to trust me because it's impossible to do and film at the same time. But I've had the petrol tap on the on position, a good flow, had it on the reserve position, good flow, and the off position, not a drop. Exactly what I want. Okay, change of plan. The tank won't go onto the bike because here with the clip, it rubs against the frame of the bike. Let me show you. It catches here, and then the little fin at the back of the petrol tank won't lift and go into here. So what I've done is taken off the 8mm fuel pipe that's currently on there, and I'm going to try running a 6mm piece, which means I'll also be deleting the inline filter, which I didn't want to do because look what it saved over the last year. So let's see if that works. If that works, I'll probably pop down to the auto factors and buy a new one of these. As you can see, cut off the ends to suit the size of your pipe, and I'll just leave it with a 6mm connector. Let's see how we get on. Well, the 6mm fuel hose won't fit onto the fuel intake there. Can you see in the middle of the screen? That's a good 8mm. So I'm going to have to make a hybrid system whereby it's 8mm from the carburetors, and then keep it as a 6mm at the top. I think that's the way to go, because there's far more crap in there than I thought there was going to be. That first attempt ended in a bit of failure, so got a new inline fuel filter, and what I'm going to do is have 8mm out, so that will fit nicely onto the carburetor intakes, and then 6mm in, which should fit onto the tap and give me enough clearance to get it in and under the frame. So let's give that a go. This is just a test fit. The tank is in its proper place. 8mm hose coming off the back of the fuel filter, but I think it's too long, so I've got to chop a bit off of it to give me enough room to put a 6mm tube link between the tap and the input of the filter. So I ended up cutting the 8mm pipe down by quite a lot to give enough room for the filter to go in and for the 6mm connector to the tank. The tank is now on and in place. It still took a little bit of wriggling to get that to go in and under that frame there. So one of the reasons we had a little bit of trouble getting the tank to go on over the frame is that the replacement tap has the fuel outlet there, whereas the original tap has the fuel outlet on the back. And it's just a question that that outlet just snags a little on the frame, and you just have to do a little bit of careful wriggling to get the thing to sit properly. As you can see, there's just a tiny sliver of 6mm going down to the 18mm. So you can see it when I see it. Let's turn the tap on, see if we've got any leaks or see if it's running free. Glug, glug, glug. Can't smell anything yet, which is a good sign. Yeah, it seems to have fuel in it. Let's go for a little start. So far, so good. So this is where I got the fuel tap from, eBay UK. So what I'll do, I'll just leave the fuel tap switched on, see if we get any leaks, if gravity just pulls any out. Other than that, a little bit of fettling as you'd expect for a non-genuine part, but on the whole it worked very well, and I think for the money, 45 quid was pretty good. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe and share. Comments are also very helpful, helps the algorithm and helps to get it seen a little bit more. See you in the next one. Cheers.